Hey Tiona, this video is for you and anyone else that I hope I can help. So your email to me said, let me look at your email. Even after viewing the tutorial video you just uploaded, I'm still having trouble with my 0% probability of success. I've added both my investment accounts, 401 and taxable account, and still have 0% probability of success. Anything you can do, anything I'm missing. So I'm going to take a look at your account and see what I can discover. So I see that you've added some investments. Let me look at the investments and see what you've got. So have you added any allocation? I don't think you've added any allocation to your investments. Let's see. Let's just jump over to investments and see what you've got. All accounts. So if we go in your 401k, you have not allocated any assets. So I'll show you how to do that, and we'll see if that can move the needle. So right now, let's see what the needle looks like. Your retirement analysis is 0, and if we go to action items, current allocation just says current allocation, but you haven't allocated. So how do you allocate? So let's go back over to your investments and jump into your investment, your 401k. You could customize the allocation. You could actually make it, this is where you get to decide what kind of allocation you want to give to your portfolio. And you have all these options, and you can make changes and you can customize it. Or you can just grab a model portfolio, and that's where you get all of these different opportunities to say preservation, that's very conservative. Conservative is obviously conservative. Balanced, moderate, growth, aggressive. Now, if you just click on those, you'll see how it allocates. So you can say conservative, you see the dial moving. Balanced, you see the dial moving. Moderate, you see it gets even more aggressive, which gives you more opportunity over long term to grow your investments, which is something I would encourage. Growth, even more opportunity to grow. These are all going to change your probability of success. So let's just say that you want to go with balanced, because let's just say that you're a little bit afraid of risk. Obviously, if you say preservation or conservative at your age, and I really don't know your age, but I'm going to assume you're in college, you're probably between 20 and 30, you should not be in a conservative or preservation mode, because you will miss out on tremendous opportunity for growth. So let's say you choose balanced and hit save. So remember what we did, we just went into your 401k, we clicked on the allocation button, we said based on a model, and we clicked on balanced. So now I'm going to do the same thing to your taxable account, because you didn't do any allocation in your you did create the account, but you did no allocation. So now I'm going to say based on a model, let's say based on aggressive. Just for fun, we'll hit save. Now I'm going to go to your retirement. And now let's see what happens. So still got 0 current allocation. And we know what your current allocation is. So let's take a look at a few other things to see why you have 0 probability of success. So if I go to your dashboard, or rather I want to see your savings. So it says you're saving 20% in your 401k. What about your income? It says you make $50,000 a year, so that's pretty good. I think. I don't really know what your job description will be, but you've got contribution 22%. 22% in a taxable account. 22% of what? I'm not sure. Of salary income. Okay, so 22% of 50,000. So that makes sense. Let's look at your expenses. $3,200 a month. That's pretty good, reasonable, I think. Let's see what your goals are. You want to retire. Monthly expense of $2,000 when you retire. You want to retire at 65. So all of that is good. Let's see net worth. Bank, looks like you've connected your accounts. That's good. 21,000 in credit cards. You got a loan. So let's just jump into retirement and see what we can do to change the probability of success. So I just jumped down into this place where we can start to move the needle. So let's say you retire at 68 instead of 65. What happens? It's loading your probability. It still says 0%. So I'm curious. I want to jump into your cash flows and see what we have. So at age 19, you've got $50,000 coming in, no distributions. You have a big expense here. I don't know where that expense is, but you have a super big expense in year 2021. So not sure if you did what I just did, but this is what I do when I have a question about a plan, and this is what I suggest you do in your plan if you're having trouble moving the needle. One of the things you can do is jump into your cash flow and just look at these numbers. With a $258,000 annual expense, which is growing, that is going to destroy your plan. Obviously, your net flows, you're spending $1 million a year at 62, 1.3 million. So obviously there's a problem. So let's click on expense and see where the expense is. So it looks like you set up your mortgage. I'm going to guess that you set up your mortgage with an annual instead of a mortgage. You set up an annual cost. So let's just go look at your mortgage. Investment, property, insurance, bank. Where's the loan? There's the loan. So you've got original amount with a balance, monthly payment, 260 calendar year, early payoff. So what is original amount? So it doesn't look like you did anything wrong here on your mortgage, but I'm trying to figure out annual property tax, current value. So if your annual property tax is $178,000, that's going to be a very big bill. So I'm going to assume you added a zero, and I'm going to say annual property tax. It's in Ridge Creek. I'm not sure where Ridge Creek is, but so I pay $5,000, 45. I'm going to put 3,500 and hit save. Annual insurance, that's probably a little low. If that includes wind and hurricane and hail and all of the other things. Annual maintenance, you're saying $12,000. That's a lot. It's $1,000 a month for maintenance. Maybe, this is a fixer-upper, but I'm going to say $1,200 for maintenance. It's who knows what it's going to be. So made a few changes there. Now I'm going to go back to retirement and just see what happens. So back to retirement. Oh, look at that. You already have 100% probability of success. And what we've done is basically, so I can take this, remember I bumped that up to 68. So let's put it back to 65, see what happens. Hit refresh. It's refreshing. And this is what I would encourage you to do and everyone to do with your plan is go in and do a little playing around and just see what moves the needle for you. I'm going back into the summary. This is your cash flow summary, as you can see here. From retirement, instead of the analysis, I just clicked on cash flow. Just want to see what it looks like. So you're bringing in 50 grand, your expenses are still 72. So somewhere in there, there's 72 grand in expenses. Let's see what that is. So you've got debt, you've got housing of 20 grand a year, which is probably not too much. Living expense of 38 grand pre-retirement. So, you're going to have to look at your expenses. If those are actually your expenses in real life, you would be trying to look at your budget to see where those expenses are coming from. So now I'm looking at your expenses. This looks like 12 grand of expenses. Education is a big part of your expenses. That's probably not going to last forever. This is 3 months. Let's see the current month. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's too out of whack, but nonetheless, if we go back to retirement and we look at the cost, your cost is pretty high for your expenses. So you've got 100% probability of success, but I'm not really sure that's realistic. You've got, it looks like you're going to have some money at the end of your plan, but I'm not sure. I would have to do some more investigation in your plan because it looks like your net worth. So if I look at your cash flow and your net worth, I can start to get an idea what's going on in your plan. But I just jumped in to see if I could solve the initial problem of helping you move the needle, and I think I've done that. And I would like you to spend a little time, if you want to understand your plan, just spend a little time looking at your cash flows and review it. Just review your goals. If you go to your profile, you can look at your goals. They look pretty reasonable. Your income looks pretty reasonable. And savings, looks like you have a good plan for savings. Expenses, 32, you did the simple approach. You might want to do a detailed and just see what that gives you. But oops, sorry, I think I just changed your plan. I'll let you fix that because I'm going to post this video for you and hope that it helps. I think it did. We got you off top dead center, off of 0. So again, this isn't very accurate, but if you go into cash flows, you can start to get an idea what's happening in your plan, and that's really what I'm hoping you will do, Tiana. So thank you for asking for a little help. Thank you for letting me use your plan for this tutorial video. I'll see you on the next one.